the emerging conflict between spirituality and religion. So I keep now hearing interchangeably, the word spirituality, which is very popular and most people are into it, and religion being separated from spirituality. And for what I knew, from decades ago, that religion was part of spirituality. A very spiritual person and very religious person meant the same thing decades ago, no longer, right? And I want to discuss that because I heard a comment on a very popular podcast, which I won't mention because I don't like to make a negative comment on someone who's doing a lot of good, right? Maybe construed, in a negative way. And I wanted to discuss that in the video today. And for those of you who like the contents of my video, please also remember to like and subscribe to my channel. This is going to greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And if I can ask you just one extra optional flavor, just drop a comment and share it with just one other person or your favorite social media channel. I would very highly appreciate that. That will do so much for me and my channel and my mission with my channel. And but more importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you for the precious time that you are spending in my channel or just listening to me. I do understand and value your time and appreciate it. A very big thank you. Okay? Those of you who don't know me, I am Osman, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi. I'm a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and spiritual ailments. Amazing offer I have, 10-minute anxiety fix for just $5, less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, delivered to you telepathically, instantly to any location globally, and pay only after you are satisfied. And this goes for all my protocols. For contact information, visit my website, yogawellness786.com. And I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. But the uniqueness, what sets me apart from other teachers, is I've had the amazing opportunity to study under various amazing masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures, and across the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, and the West, including the scientific communities. So I've taken the best of all the worlds and created my own unique protocols, but adapted them for the 21st century, making them basically quicker, faster, more efficient, and results oriented. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries. And my favorite protocol is my 5-minute yoga and meditation protocol, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com. So also remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So coming back at this, newly formed understanding of the meaning of spirituality as being different from religion, right? So of course, for as long as we can remember time immemorial, going back 4.5 to 5,000 years, a spiritual person may have meant a religious person, right? And it just said no, is spiritually elevated means a religious person who is advanced in the field of religion, right? Is how we understood it. But these days, probably for the last few decades, and since I'm going back to the 60s, right? I'm part of the very ancient cultures, you can say, still alive and kicking. And currently they feel spirituality is something that is very universal and all embracing and does not follow any specific religion, and is more agnostic but accepting like the universal or the cosmic energy, and that every energy pervades everything, and is the creation and the source of creation for everything. And even science is confirming the existence of quantum energy and alternative higher frequencies and dimensions, and that according to physics and quantum physics we are living in the third dimension, and that they've identified a total of 11 dimensions, and from the fourth dimension onwards is a higher dimension, and most people can access the fourth dimension already. It's the thought and the mind and the dreams, dimension, but it is a real existential dimension that's confirmed, by quantum physics. So spirituality is going marrying more, science, quantum physics, and becoming more formulated in that aspect. And since God cannot be proven, and heaven and hell cannot be proven, and the so-called, prophets and saints and divine, appearances on earth happened like over 1,000 years ago. People are even questioning whether that was real, whether the stories are real, whether it's just anecdotal, whether there was really these miracles or not miracles, and they just take it as like a figurative book. They're starting to take the scriptures more figuratively than literally. And now the trend from a spiritual perspective, those who are spiritual, practicing mindfulness practice and breath work and yoga from a spiritual perspective, they're not attaching to any religion, and especially when it comes to the very popular meditation method, Vipassana meditation method, or the most studied meditation method coming from the Buddhist school of thought. In Buddhism, there is no existence of a god. So the Buddha himself said he went to the highest level, the highest whatever level he reached, right, is considered to be the highest level. He never see or identified any god, separate god entity. He just that each person himself elevates to higher levels of perfection where you become one with everything. So to speak, there the understanding is that everyone becomes God or one with God, and you lose your ego, you lose your mind, you lose everything, and you become one with everything. And that's the goal of everything from a spirituality perspective. But it is only one very narrow slice of what meditation is, because it's coming originally, from yoga sciences, right? So it traces back to the 4.5 to 5,000 years, and in the yoga sciences, there's 112 types of yoga and different types of meditations and so, but 112 different disciplines of yoga that you can perfect yourself in, and the 112 times is just one of four major categories, right? And the lowest of the four categories is what people are generally following now, which are called spirituality. It's been already defined in the yoga sciences in Kashmiri Saivism, specifically. If you go and study the fourth level, or the one that everyone um, that can very easily get convinced to follow, is to accept that everything has got energy, and energy is everywhere, and everyone is every energy. It's like inclusiveness, like everyone is one, and you should treat the other person as yourself, and he's got any, and everyone can become one energy, and like the common terminology of spirituality is covered under that fourth major category in the yogic sciences, but specifically you can go into it in Kashmiri Saivism, right? And the one with the 112 pathways is the second level. So there's level one and level three. Just to complete it, level three is where they accept the superior form of energy as a goddess, that God is actually in the form of a goddess, and has a feminine form, and he's both form, and superior to the form is the formless aspect, where she assumes, the energy of the entire universe, and from which everything is created and is permeating even every atom, and nothing can exist, without this energy, or this thing, as like the mother of all that exists, right? And then, of course, the first level, which we didn't discuss, is there's a pathway of where people in and of themselves, without a teacher, because there's a saying, general understanding, that no one can become Christ conscious or become elevated into an awakened state. They call a woke state now. That's I've awakened. Certain. They they use these words so loosely. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? So sorry for using the word hell. In this, I promise you that is not awake, right? What the people calling awake is not awake. We know what is awake, right? Awake is mm, where you transcend your ego, and you're permanently in a state of transcendence of your mundane level, and you see everything, physically. You can feel everything as if it's you, physically, and seeing the energetic part of the world, not only this dimension. You can see all the dimensions, and in and growing, right? That's when you are awakening, as described by Gopi Krishna. So you can, I mean, he passed away in 1984, but they made, popularized his books and videos between 1977 and 1984, and it's available on YouTube. And you'll understand more his version of what is, the superconscious state, and which is the real, awake or enlightened, like someone like Sadhguru, we'd consider him to be awake, right? Who can see, what is true and what is not true. But I don't believe fully awake, in my opinion, because I listen to some of his talks, and there are some things which I don't agree with, respectfully. And not only me, I mean, there's a huge bodies of evidences from people more famous than him, and achieve more than, maybe he'll achieve more than those people. But from the perspective, I mean, he's talking wildly against Jesus and Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, and lot of saints and sages, right? Probably over 100,000 saints and sages, right? That passed, or walked the earth, right? And he's come to deconstruct a religion and get people into truth, and so forth. And like, because they claim, Jesus said, there's a kingdom of heaven, right? And there is a hell, right? And there's a day of judgment, right? Which there's no heaven or hell, according to Sadhguru, and that's another topic for another video, as an example. But let's say that's from that level is the beginning of, is like we call it awakening, right? Awakening. And when you established on that level, right, you're on level one, because I've studied this field very deeply. There are 100 levels, there's still 99 levels above. So we're considering the fully awakening of the seventh chakra, and you establish and conscious in that level, all the time. And then there is above this 99 more, above that, more chakras that they don't really mention, because modern gurus and so forth find it not necessary to mention it. And it was fortunately I studied under various teachers, and I understood all these things, right? So coming back to spirituality, so Sadhguru seems to be inclined towards spirituality, although it speaks a lot about Hindu traditions and Hindu festivals, and past Hindu avatars and so forth, right? Like about Krishna, and um, the deities, and so forth. But he tries to put a spiritual spin on it, and say these are not God, but they are power points. and to access certain powers, and so forth. He covers it and following more. I've got nothing against spirituality. So coming to what I am upset about. So now there's a clear distinction in current definition what is spiritual and what is religion. And religion is considered by the people from the spiritual field as people, those who are religion, they say they are fanatics or they believe things literally, and they are the way they speak of them as though these are people who are daft people. Those who are following a religion are stupid, and they just need some figure to follow, and that's why they need some higher power. But the more woke people don't need that. They don't have that inferiority complex, and they just develop themselves and become God themselves. And they believe they're all God themselves, right? In the spirituality field or developing towards Godhead. Um, and believe, of course, they believe in reincarnation and so forth, right, as well in the spirituality field. Then you get, the talking in a way in this particular podcast. It was talking very in a negative tone against Christianity and Islam and Judaism. They specifically mentioned Judaism, mentioned Christianity intensely intense because it is very popular in the religion in the Western, and very mildly on Islam, right? Very mildly on Islam because they don't understand that. So my disagreement and disappointment in that is, firstly, I am first and foremost a religious person as well as a spiritual person. I am both, right? And but I don't speak negatively about spirituality. I don't speak negatively about people who don't worship God and so forth. I'm an energy healer, and I do chakra unblocking. I developed my own unique protocol for chakra unblocking, right, which is not practiced by any other person in the entire world. I've created my own, and I don't unblock your 7 chakras or your specific chakras. I unblock all 114 chakras that you have, right? And you will have a way of experiencing it and confirming, because there is physical signs that you can feel that to confirm that it is completely unblocked, right? So I get clients and customers from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, and including satanics wants to be do chakra unblocking so that they can get more elevated in their spirituality in the satanic field, right? And I don't say no, I'm not going to help you because you're going to, you are supporting, Satan, and will make you a stronger satanic. No, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to, not influence people how they should think. Although I have my firm belief, I'm Muslim, right? And many Muslims will not even accept me as a Muslim because I'm teaching yoga, I'm doing meditation. This is not mentioned anywhere in the, according to them, it's not mentioned, but I believe it is, in Quran, and it is in Islam as well. Just that it's been dropped off by the modern day people, but there is still existential evidences of it in the practices, especially in the Sufi sect, which some Muslims don't accept them as Muslims, but in the overall general body of Muslim, they are accepted as Sunni Muslims, right? From the majority Muslims, they are accepted as Sunni Muslims. They are not said they are not Muslims officially, just that individuals don't want to accept, right? So in Sufism, there is a lot of chanting, there is a lot of self-discipline, fasting, and types of meditation, and even sitting in meditation, in silence, in alone. These practices are there, and there's like a link between the yoga sciences and Sufism, where Sufis, they try to bring a balance between Hinduism and Islam, because there's a lot of things from the yogic cultures that they respect and follow. Not everything, of course, but they respect and follow a lot of things. Myself, I'm an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, and if people want to recite certain mantras and so forth, they welcome. I myself recite mantras, but I recite the Islamic one from the Quran, right? Directly from the Quran. I use certain, verses of the Quran to recite it, but I don't wear my religion on my sleeve. I don't have to mention my religion got nothing to do with, my spiritual practices. So spiritual practices like my breath work, my kriya, um, and my meditation and my yoga practices and so forth. This is for health benefits and developing the mind to its maximum potential, right? Trying to strive to reach its maximum potential, because this science strives to do exactly that. It's a tool for exactly that, to take your average scientifically proven capacity of humans only using 8 to 10% of the brain, to driving it up to potentially 100%, capability of the brain, is what we use in the yoga sciences. So they call it like union with your true self, where you're merging with and you're connecting with the universal energy, and you identify everyone, and you are connected to everyone through that same energy medium, and you know that harming them is not good, because it's like you harming your own self. You see yourself in everything and in everyone, right? And your empathy and your heart, evolves that way, which is what religions are trying to, teach you, fundamentally as well. So why should people who don't believe in religion but believe in spirituality speak negative about religion? So yes, there are people from religions also speaking negatively on spirituality. Like, I mean, a lot of Muslims don't accept me as a Muslim, right? But I don't, I know I'm not doing anything that is contrary, to my religion, and I'm practicing what is scientific. From a scientific perspective, as a foundation of my practices, I base that, not going too far into the other spheres except what is can be provable by science, and then anything above that, I keep it as anecdotal, and I always keep an open mind that maybe it's an hallucination from my side. I always accept that. But what is scientific, and that's what I will admit to. And what is, I still speak about the other things, but I say I don't know, right? Because these are from higher dimensions, and whether there is real higher dimension, or whether it is my imaginations or overactive imagination, we don't know. Or and I accept that. So it proves that I'm not insane, and I honestly believe that, right? Because who knows? So even Sadhguru says we don't know whether, he uses very hard words, where the hell you came from and where the hell you're going to go to. Right? He uses words like that. Although we have belief and we, this thing, but I have to say he's right as well, right? We can't put conviction. We don't have proof. For it, we believe in the word of, empowered beings or enlightened beings, or, divine appearances and so forth, right? That what they said is true, and convinced about it, but it's their word, right? And bottom line, we're all going to die and we're going to find it for ourselves. But people who say there is nothing after death, is there life after death? I mean, come on. There's so many NDEs. Read the book by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which is accepted by the scientific community, right? I was introduced to it when I was in medical university, right? And in our psychology studies, they brought that, book, and to prove, what is scientifically, because it was a scientific study by a doctor with over 20,000 NDE patients, near-death experiences, meaning NDE meaning near-death experience, patients across the globe, right? And all had similar or identical, experience, which she documented, and it's in the book. You can get it from Amazon, On Death and Dying by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. So there is bridges, and they said there's no alternative, dimension. There isn't any higher dimensions and living beings, where of higher frequencies. Come on, have you followed the quantum physics field, their findings, right? Try to do more research on quantum physics. It seems that the professor, from the medical department or the pharmaceutical department is not speaking to the professor from the quantum physics department, but they're in the same university, right? So, I mean, you have to do wide and deep research. So, there's a lot of things. So, my problem is this: don't negatively comment, on it. You follow spirituality, you believe that, that's well done, right? It's your belief. And I respect that, right? And I got my belief. You should respect that. And the Christians got their belief, respect that, right? How do you know that maybe all is one? And you're just seeing these divisions from your own weakness because you can't see how they are connected right now because you're only using 8 to 10% of your brain capacity. When it opens up higher, those who are advanced in yoga, they don't see these type of differences, everywhere. All the differences fade away, and they don't point fingers even to the person who's totally opposite to them. I respect, and they accept them. They don't try to change. We don't try to take a black cat and to make it into a white cat. Yes, you follow spirituality. Don't put others down. You want them to leave them that and follow yours way. Your way is the only right way. No. How do you know that yours maybe is the wrong way and theirs is the right way? This is the beauty of the ancient cultures, especially with Kashmiri Saivism, where they delineate all the schools and even they got room for the current definition of the spiritual people in their definitions, and it's fine. Those who believe that God is everywhere is accept. Those that believe there's only one God and is a personal, that is also accept. Those who believe that God is not a personal God and he cannot be is inconceivable, is neither form nor is he formless, is beyond form and beyond formless, that which the mind cannot even conceive of, that also accepted. There's Advaita philosophy or non-dualism, coming into it. So they accepting, all levels, this thing. So this is so amazing, from an intellectual perspective. Now we becoming advanced in society. So let's stop saying that Christians are bad and Muslims are bad and Jewish. Yes, there's some bad people in all the religions. Even in spirituality, people, there's some bad people, right? And it doesn't mean the religion is bad, And who are we to judge, right? So there is a law in the country that can, apply the rules, and they can. There's a judge in the court. Don't We are not the judge and jury. Judge, jury, executioner? No, it's not the Wild West. Let's follow protocols, right? uh, I believe there's a number of levels that I believe, firstly what's written in my books, and then what are the second level is what are the interpretations, because there are different interpretations of the same book, right? And that are totally opposite to each other, which ones that I follow, right? And I've got my own following of whose interpretations I follow. And then there is also the law of the land, right? The law of the land is also to be respected. There should be a balance, right? You can't disobey the law of the and say, no, my religion says this, and that's why I'm doing. The law says, no, this must not be done, not done. No hijab allowed in France, no hijab allowed, and finished. You can make peaceful protests or lobbying and, requests, but they got the reasons why, they not allowing it and so forth. Because in that country, things, situation, different places, different situation, different circumstance, things are different, right? And we have to respect the law, right? Then vote. If you want to change the law, stand for your election yourself, and you can change the laws, right? Even the president cannot change the laws. The president has to follow his advisors and the majority decision, the vote of the cabinet, and so forth, right? So even one person cannot, rule everything. So similarly, don't be negative. I mean, spirituality is to be balanced. If you claim to be spiritual, be all embracing and learn to be pluralistic, right? Embracing and respecting everything. You don't have to follow everything. I don't follow everything. I follow, my religion, privately and seriously, and I don't break. I believe nothing in my religion did I ever do I ever break, of the major rules, and like of course I'm human for minor things, right? But I'm talking about the major things, right? I'm not committing any of the major things, and I'm following all the prescriptions, according to my this thing. So I'm fine, and I'm doing it privately, but I separate my spirituality from it. And although people from my religion, they're against it, but I don't accept that. I feel I should be better than that, and I request humbly those of you who are spiritual, respect others as well. Don't look down on people. Everyone has got their different levels, and maybe they are higher than you. When you're pointing a finger like this. There's three fingers pointing back at you. Remember that, right? So hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.